Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Third Wave Trades. Okay guys, so today we're going to do another company that has earnings this week on Thursday, and that is Shopify. I already have the chart pulled out. You guys can already see on the screen we have the macro count, so I will just go over that quickly to show you guys where I think we are. We'll zoom in and take a look at the local structure to see where the stock is currently and what its next move potentially is. All right, so quick disclaimer, not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research and/or consult with a financial advisor before making any trading or investment decisions. Next, guys, you know the deal. If you could, please like the video and subscribe to the channel if you want more Elliott wave breakdowns of your favorite commodities, stocks, and cryptos. From a macro standpoint, you guys can see we sort of had a 5-wave sequence, and again, the exact nature of this count doesn't really matter. Essentially, what we're looking at is a large wave up, and then we can tell from this retracement, a very steep retracement, that this is a second wave down. As you guys can see, I have the Fibonacci retracement charted on here, and you guys can see that we retraced more than 78%, which is a perfectly legitimate retracement for a second wave. We came down to this bottom in October of 2022, which was roughly around $24. So from there, we've basically had a pretty strong move up, and we took out this previous high from our downtrend. So we can basically say that we have reversed the downtrend, and now we are in an uptrend move. So that's what we would be looking to see, whether or not to see what the exact count of this is, right? Because now, if that's our large first wave, this is our second wave. Essentially, we should be starting a third wave move up. All right, and now we just need to know what the breakdown of this structure will be. All right, so let's zoom in and take a look at that. I think there's only one real wave count that makes sense to me at the moment, given Shopify's current structure, according to the Elliott wave principle, and that is a leading diagonal. All right, so I'm going to show you guys the exact rules of the leading diagonal in a little bit, but I kind of just want to show you guys what I mean and where we are. So like I said, this was the October 22 low. This is where we bounced from and took out this high. So you guys can see this was a first wave up, right? Even if we don't count the exact sub-wave structure, we can see this was a impulsive move up, second wave down, third wave up, fourth wave down, and now we got all of this, which I'm going to get into in just a bit, right? But if we do break down the subwaves, then we can see that this is following the rules of an expanding diagonal. Then the number one rule is, if we get a fourth wave that comes lower than the top of the first, we are most likely in a diagonal, right? Because the normal rule is that if you have a first wave, second wave, third wave, the fourth wave cannot come into this territory, right? So it can't come lower than this territory like that, right? That violates one of the rules of the Elliott wave principle, except for in the case of diagonals, which we see over here. We have fourth wave over here, our first wave over here. Clearly, the only way to count this then would be in the form of a diagonal. All right, so if you guys see over here, we have these are the rules for a diagonal, and particularly an expanding diagonal, which essentially is the same as contracting diagonal. The only difference is the nature of how it expands versus contracts, right? So this is You guys can see we're in an uptrend, so this is what it would look like in an uptrend. This is a downtrend. For our purposes, we need to just look at this right here. All right, so we're looking at this uptrend move. You guys can see you have a channel drawn. All right, and we're gonna touch the top of the channel is drawn from the top of the first and the top of the third, and then the bottom of the second and the bottom of the fourth. And you guys can see as we're going through this, wave 1 is smaller than wave 3, which is smaller than wave 5. All right, so in an expanding diagonal, we expect wave 5 to be the largest wave. Over here, you guys can see it a little bit clearer, right? Wave 3 has to take out this wave 1 high, and wave 5 has to take out this wave 3 high. Now, wave 5 does not necessarily have to come and touch this channel, right? It can overshoot it and it can undershoot it, but what it has to do, we do expect it to at least come to wave 3, right? So it would have to finish at least over here or somewhere higher. All right, it can't undershoot wave 3, so you can't get a wave 5 over here. All right, that's not allowed. It has to at least come up to this point, which is the wave 3 line. All right. The next thing I want you guys to know about expanding diagonals is that the sub wave structure is essentially 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. All right. So each one of these waves will be made up of 3 waves, as you can see over here in the leading diagonal. That's the basic structure. You can also get a 5, 3, 5, 3, 5. In other words, waves 1, 3, and 5 are allowed to have a 5-wave impulsive structure as opposed to a 3-wave move. But 2 and 4 will still have a 3-wave structure. All right. So we have a couple of options here. We could have a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, or we could have a 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, or we could have a combination of it. So you could have a 5, 3, 3, 3, 5. All right. Retracements, you can see we have a couple of options. Wave 2 retraces about 61 to 78% of wave 1, and wave 4, same thing, about 61 to 78% of wave 3. And then these are the hard and fast rules, right? So wave 1 is always going to be the shortest wave. Wave 2 can't go beyond the start of wave 1, which would be here. Wave 3 cannot be the shortest wave, all right, which is, we know that. Wave 3 is longer than wave 1, but it's shorter than wave 5, right? So that's a slight difference from what we know about the regular impulsive rules. In the impulsive rules, wave 3 is usually the longest, and it's never the shortest, but it's usually the longest. In an expanding diagonal, wave 5 is usually the longest, all right? Wave 4 can't go below wave 2. That's a normal Elliott wave rule. Wave 5 is the longest wave, and it's longer than wave 3, like we just said. And it's always going to end, like I said earlier, guys, wave 5 is always going to end beyond the start of wave 3. So it's going to have to happen over here at the minimum, right? But there's a very good chance that it goes a lot higher. It doesn't have to touch this, but oftentimes that's the target. It can overshoot it if it's extremely bullish in this case, or if it's not as bullish, it could undershoot it and finish somewhere around here, but it will always take out this wave 3. All right, and yeah, right here, it cannot truncate and not reach the end of wave 3. So it can't just, wave 5 can't just end somewhere over here, right? And then we say that's a wave 5. All right, that's not allowed. All right, guys, so those are the basic diagonal rules. So now that we are armed with that, let's go back to our chart and we can see basically that's exactly what we have playing out. If we count this subwave, we can count this as a 3-wave move. All right, for wave 1. Wave 2, we can count a 3-wave move. Wave 3 looks like a 5-wave impulsive move. And then wave 4 looks like a 3-wave move. All right, so far all the rules have been met. That means we're kind of like we're in this 5th wave now. All right, so the 5th wave looked a little tricky, and the reason for that is because of how sideways it looks over here, right? So if you're looking at this move right here, it looks a little, sidewaysy, a little choppy. I would have felt a lot more comfortable with it if we were seeing this come up here and then down here, and then I would say like, okay, this is a nice 3-wave move for the 5th wave on the expanding diagonal. And so it would make me feel more comfortable if we had a little bit more of an impulsive move over here. But if you guys pay attention to the structure, it's actually totally fine. It's still possible that it still looks like this is what's playing out. And the reason is if we count this, we could probably count 5 waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we'll say that that's our A on this 3-wave structure. Then we get a B that looks like it's made up of a triangle. So we get an A, B, C, D, and an E, right? That would be our B leg. All right, and then from here we can expect probably an impulsive move to complete this 3-wave structure, right? So we get an A, B, C, and that could bring us to this 5th wave on our expanding diagonal, right? So at the very least, right, by the rules of the expanding diagonal, we can expect, if this is exactly what's playing out, and this is what it looks like to me is playing out, we can expect a move or a nice rally to at least $55. All right, and it could potentially go higher than that if we were to draw out this trend line over here, right, where we're connecting the tops of waves 1 and waves 3. This 5th wave could go as high as we could just go from today's current price action as high as $69, if not higher, if it is going to continue to touch this trend line. I don't think it'll go that high. I think it will undershoot that, but I feel pretty confident that if this is what's playing out, we're going to see at least $55, which, as you guys can see right now, the stock is at $46.87. That would be a nice $10 move. So maybe we'll get a little bit more sideways action up until earnings, and then my thought process is that earnings will be the catalyst. There will be some sort of earnings will be good. Maybe their forecast will be good for Shopify, and that will basically be the impetus or the catalyst that Shopify needs to get this 5th wave rally, which would be the C wave of our 5th wave in an expanding diagonal. All right, guys, so that's really what I'm looking at. I think this could be a good play. As of right now, it could be something else, but to me that's really the only option I see as of right now, given the subwave count, given how the 4th wave is coming to the 5th wave like this. The fact that we did bounce from over here, I do believe we're starting a larger rally up, and I think it is in the form of an expanding diagonal, right? Now, once we hit this 5th wave and we complete this move to the upside, from there we're looking to retrace, right? So, if you do make this play, if you get to like $55 over here, that's the target that we're looking for. From there, I would be ready to take profits. Again, it could go higher. So if you have multiple contracts, shares, whatever, if you want to look to scale out at this point, that would be a safe move. But you kind of just have to read the chart, read the price action as it's happening, to make that decision. If you see strength over here and you see no signs of slowing down, you can continue to ride it until you start to see some sort of like momentum divergence, right? Like, so if the RSI is making lower highs, price is making higher highs, at what point to get out. All right. But yeah, guys, that's really what I have for Shopify. I don't think there's really much more that needs to be said. So essentially, just to quickly recap, I think we are in an expanding diagonal. I think within that expanding diagonal, we are on our fifth wave. Our fifth wave looks like it's going to be made up of an A, B, and we should be getting a C wave to complete it. Minimum target would be around $55. I will mention, guys, I don't remember who gave it, but the Shopify did get a price target upgrade to around $55 too, and that was based off of their fundamentals, right? So there seems to be some sort of confluence between what Elliott Wave is saying and the fundamentals, and other analysts giving it a 55 price target increase, right? So for whatever that's worth, if you guys like trading on fundamentals as well, there is some sort of confluence with that, all right, with what the Elliott Wave count is showing us, right? And this is just a minimum. Like I said, we could hit 60, we could hit 65, as long as we stay within this range. There's no reason why we can't overshoot or undershoot. I always like to just take a conservative approach when trading. So at a very minimum, I would say we could possibly hit this level. The other thing, guys, I should mention that I see the earnings being a catalyst for this move. It doesn't necessarily mean that when earnings comes out, this has to jump up to 55 right away, right? It can make a move up, during earnings, which could be decently strong, and then pull back, and then, slowly climb up in the next week or so. But essentially, I do think that this is where we are headed. All right. I think that's really it, guys. I think we've covered everything from the Elliott Wave principle. Again, if we wanted to take a look at some of the other indicators, we could see that, in terms of our EMA, we're right on our EMA. We're kind of a little bit lower our 21-day EMA, but we're between our 21 and our 50. So we have support over here, right? And this is our 200-day EMA as well. RSI, we're above 50, so that's bullish. We look like we're about to get a crossover mid-level on the stochastics. So overall, I don't see any like real signs of weakness, right? We're still within this channel, as you guys can see, of this rising channel, right? We keep hitting off of it and bouncing off of it. So that's like a sign to look for. We could get a bounce right here off of this channel, and like that could be the 5-wave impulsive move. Alright, guys, so that's all I got today for Shopify. I hope that helps. I hope it was informative and you guys picked up something on the expanding diagonal. I know the diagonals gave me a lot of problems when I was first learning it. It could be pretty tricky, but overall I think this is in fact what is playing out. So if you guys liked that video and you guys found it helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to get more Elliott Wave breakdowns on your favorite stocks, cryptos, and commodities. That's all I got for now. I will be back with more. Peace.